Oh, the mistake, and McBreen's clean through on goal here to win it. What a miss from Daniel McBreen.
Fucking dog shit.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, perhaps. That's a great start. We are back with A-League Off Air. I've used it once before. I was just telling Macca. I feel like a pig shat in my head. I'm up on the Gold Coast in a hotel, and I'm up bright and early with the time difference as well to record this after the Tillies action last night and, of course, the round of A-League men, which is what we're here to talk about. Daniel McBreen, 20 goals in 5 games over the weekend in the Isuzu A-League. Now, that's not a bad return, 4 goals a game. We all know, and you perhaps better than most, that scoring a goal is the greatest feeling on earth. And with that comes a certain rush of adrenaline. Some players with experience are able to keep their heads. Some just let their joy explode everywhere. I thought with 20 goals over the weekend, we'd have a good mix of goal celebrations. I went back after you brought it to our attention yesterday, and there was a good range of some remarkable choreography. There were also some classics, some a little bit unusual. I think we see from the foreigners that have come into the league that they have a little bit more experience in this department. I think that's what they can really bring to the A-League men's competition, and I think we should demand more. So I was just going to rattle through a few of the generic celebrations that we saw. Zinedine Mashash pulled off the stand there, almost statuesque, defy the crowd to sort of, I can do that, this is what I did. You can only do that when you score quite a quality goal.
Yeah.
If it's, so he did that. It was a fantastic goal, and he pulled that off. I like the Tommy Uzcock, Zach Clough urgency run back without celebrating to the centre circle. Neither was carrying the ball when they did that, which I thought was a little bit disappointing because that is the real classic for that type of celebration. We had the slightly embarrassed Nikos Virgos and Keely Adamsons, who are Virgos because he knew that should never have been a goal. You shouldn't be able to side-foot it in from a 3-degree angle.
Yeah.
And Keely Adamson, I think he knows in his heart of hearts it wasn't on target, but fair play for the moment. He's still holding on to that goal. Danny De Silva went the tribute to the assist provider with the point and the hug. Great for team spirit, great for morale. Adam Taggart showed that he is a regular goal scorer with very little emotion and just his 2-finger point, whatever that is, towards the ground, a little bit, arrowhead or something. Or Bruno Fornaroli sent the message. Now, this one was a little bit special.
This is what I do. I do this. When I play, I score.
Exactly. Is it that hard to understand? Yeah. So that was quality. The last one I'd say before we get to the big one was Bart Friens and Francis de Vries both did just the classic celebration. And what I really liked about Francis de Vries actually was that he's clearly not a goal scorer. He didn't think he was going to score. He doesn't have any sort of celebration, but he ran off just towards the crowd, and his mate came along. I think it was Tommy Smith, arm in arm, fist pumping, running off, smiling. It had real 80s football vibes about it. So, and plus it was pissing down, Auckland shit weather. So that was nice. What else did we have? Just very quickly, I think Nick Milanovic did the little badge on the front of his shirt very quickly. He's becoming a regular goal scorer. He's got to get better in this department.
He can start thinking of some planned ones.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also got, a bit of an ego. He doesn't mind being a bit of a shit stirrer, so it's going to happen, but there's no point denying it any longer. We have to talk about the one and only Nadar Moreno. Fucking hell. The Ecuadorian just let it all go. Now, I don't know if that's every goal celebration he's ever done in his career all wrapped into one, and he'd been saving it for this moment. It was a great goal. It was the opening goal in the 83rd minute. It meant that they've got 5 wins in a row. But Macca, your eyes just lit up when you saw this, obviously. What were you thinking?
Well, at first I thought that's a great goal, and he went off celebrating pretty heavily. And I was like, yeah, with that goal like that, the strike like that, that's fine. And the commentators had said that he likes to score long distance goals as well. So I was like, okay, so he does this quite often. And then I was just watching him, and then it just started. It was the hug, there was the vamos, there was the go to the crowd, then he was to his mates, then he pointed at someone else, then he did the love heart thing, then he was pointing at the badge and kissing the badge and then he was back to the A for Auckland, and then fucking more. I was like, fuck, Jesus Christ. And it reminded me of the one where you eventually put it on Twitter when I put it up there, and it was that one. It was like, how many celebrations can you get for one goal in one go? And I reckon he was up there. Jacob Spoonley sent me a long list of them in a text message, and I put it up on Twitter as well. And
someone else, was it that said that? Brilliant.
Someone else said it was about 18, but it just struck me. It just made me laugh. It was just, I could hear the ding in my head every time he did a new one. But yeah, look, maybe he doesn't.
The only thing that was missing was the shirt. Show my name to the crowd. That's it. Moreno. Don't forget the name.
Yeah.
So, and really, that's a schoolboy error not to have managed to fit that one in there.
Yeah. Well, that's a go-to, isn't it? Every striker's done that at some stage.
Exactly. I didn't, because I never had my name on the back of the shirt. But once when I scored a hat trick and I did something, and the people were on the sideline in very small village football in France were giving me shit, and I was wearing the number 3 because I was the left back normally, but I had to play up front. And I pointed at the number on the back of the shirt.
There's nothing wrong with small numbers being up front, mate.
No, exactly. Spoken like a true number 2. Sam Kerr and Daniel McBreen. There you go. 2 number 2s. Even when they came back from, because you have the scorecard comes up and you go and you have a look at the coach and maybe opposition goalkeeper after the celebration. Came back, and this is about 3.5 minutes after the fucking goal's been scored, and he's doing the cross and the point to the sky, which is still going. And I think it wasn't cited in the list of celebrations, but I reckon it, I don't think he stopped.
Well, I think
it was still going even when we came back.
I think that was right. It was 7 minutes of added time. It was 4 minutes was his goal celebrations, just kept going and going and going. But hey, score a goal like that, celebrate as much as you fucking want.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it on. We look forward to more good celebrations. We had the Segacic-Kucharski one where they sat in the crowd and applauded themselves. Those two kids. That wasn't bad. But look, do you have a favourite out of it? Moreno, you're going to go with him just because of his sheer perseverance, determination?
With all the different celebrations, he's got to be my favourite one for the weekend. But it's made me think about when I played, even right from NPL all the way through. When I was overseas, I'd always try to come up with celebrations with my teammates before the game. Like, if we score today, what are we going to do? Are we going to try and do something stupid? Or some players were keen for it. Other players were just like in the moment and would forget. But I always love a good team celebration. I think it was that team. Was it a team from Sweden that used to do all that, or Finland or somewhere? They used to do all the real
the tuna or something.
Yeah,
or the
they
fishing
cast out the fishing, and then they did the kayak. I think the Brisbane Royal Boys did kayaking, and they do all these different things that look like a bicycle. These are the things that I like. I want to see more of that in the A-League. Let's see, can we get some A-League teams to get back into the big team stupid celebrations?
The big 10-pin bowling.
Yeah, the big stuff. Pull the grenade and drop the grenade in and everyone falls over. Like, come on, we need to have an A-League off-air competition for the best goal celebration this year.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's a good call. Let's get, put it out there. If there are any players listening to this, I doubt it.
Yeah, maybe.
Give us some good celebs.
Yeah.
So you are listening to A-League Off Air. Like, subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget, we're also on YouTube. Now, I wouldn't have thought this was very much of a thing, looking at Daniel McBreen in his lounge room, me in a hotel room. But if you're into that sort of thing,
Well,
I don't even have show and tell this week.
Is this better? Get the feed in there. Ooh, hey,
Beautiful.
Fletty, we just got
That was the famous left foot, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I had to think about that then. But we just our views and we just got a little thing at the bottom. Can we add that now? So whenever there's a foot on there, you can click to add a donation. Well, can make a bit more money off. We'll make some money off this. Any fucking money off this.
I didn't know where you were going with that for a moment, but that's good. All right, let's get on with it. Was there any other housekeeping? No, that's it. So let's get on with it.
No guests today.
Started on Friday. We only had 5 games. Yeah, exactly.
Just us 2 fuckers, unlucky guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. No guests. So and that's because there were only 5 games. We only have guests on when there were 6 games to review.
And
so, okay. So first up on Friday nights at Cooper's were back. Adelaide versus Perth. Macca. Adam Taggart with a couple. Clough and Freens. It was a weird game, this one. It was between 2 sides that couldn't really dominate, couldn't get going. I think probably Adelaide will be more disappointed.
Yeah.
To not have come away with all 3 points. Clough scored for 3 in a row. Ben Falami I thought was good with his first start, so that was good to see. The big talking point came in the final seconds with the handball shout, Brandon O'Neill. What did you make of that one? Because we're on the limit of those things. I mean, I know the ball only travelled 20 centimetres to his hand, but again, the arm was away from the body. It's a natural-ish position.
It is a natural. It is. In football terms, that's a natural position. When you're stretching, your arms go out. And this is where it makes it so difficult. And I spoke to the referees after, and we'll get on to stuff about something else in the game. But this is where I think referees, they get it's a hard enough job for them as it is. And now these interpretations of the rule are getting changed and swapped and it's becoming really, really difficult today. And don't make it easy for the refs at all. In my opinion, I'd say no pen. That ball, he's not far from the ball. He's stretching. His arms naturally go in that position, and it's firing wide anyway. Whether it was going to hit someone else, I
exactly.
don't know.
That's the big thing. Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't going to go in the goal. And I don't know what else he's supposed to do. And this thing where players you see putting their arms behind their back, that's the most unnatural position you'll ever fucking see on a football field. Even when you stand in a wall, you hold your nuts so you don't get fucking smashed there. You don't put your hands behind your back. So, look, I don't think that was a penalty. I think they got it right. But we can go back. Let's talk about the first disallowed goal for Bart Vreens. Now, it went back to offside, but we were looking at the handball before the goal went in thinking it was going to be disallowed. Now, we went and spoke with Daniel Elder, who was in the VAR. Simon and I were in the game. Afterwards, we went and spoke to Daniel Elder, and he said the interpretation of the law now is, because we were saying, that would have been handball anyway, wouldn't you? And he went, no. Because if the ball hits the player on the arm and that player knocks the ball in, it is, regardless of whether it's intentional, accidental, it is disallowed. If the ball hits a player on the arm accidentally, unintentionally, and bounces to another player, even though it's right there in front of goal like Bart Vreens was, and he knocks it in, that would have been allowed because it's not the same player. That is the new interpretation of the rule that's that came in 18 months ago, whenever it was. So
So to avoid trying to talk about that, they came up with this crazy offside call.
Please be offside. And I think he was offside. But that's the position that the referees...
That was very close.
Yeah. But that's the position the referee's in. And I said to Daniel as well, I went, well, every single football person is going to say that's handball. It fell straight to him on the line and he scored. And he went...
And it was going out. Off his head, it was going straight out behind the goal line for a goal kick. And his hand put it straight back across the face of goal.
So we all would have said that's disallowed handball, but the actual interpretation of the rule is no, that would have been a goal, and they would have well, they wouldn't have copped it because they're at Adelaide, but they would have copped it from all over the place. This is a joke. This is a joke. But that's the rule. That's the interpretation of the rule that the refs have to go by.
Stephen Mork would have
he wouldn't
would have had a go.
He wouldn't have had a go. Not because Adelaide scored.
Oh no, going the other way. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, look, and that's some of these silly different things that we're talking about that, you know, it couldn't have been any more advantageous to Adelaide that just dropping on the line in front of a player to knock it in, and it would have been allowed, which would have been, you know, disastrous.
Which is, it's counterintuitive. Yeah. It goes against what you think, but that, you know, exactly. Referees as well. So.
Well, we've talked to refs.
Well, a bit. Just wait. One last thing on this, because one last thing. And I've watched it back a few times and tried to listen. And I think at the moment where the ref is standing in front of the TV, you can hear in the effects mic, he says, "How long have we got?" Go back and have a listen. I seriously think you think, "How long have we got?" And that whole referee VAR intervention fucking went for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As well. So they weren't overly concerned about how long it was going to take, but the ref at the start, maybe when he saw the thin lines coming out and everything, look, he got, oh shit.
Well, I think because that went up onto Out Live, I think from what my understanding is that the VAR room like flipped that other screen onto him because they didn't want. I'm not sure if that's allowed to be broadcast when they're putting on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
Because we don't usually see that the lines being drawn. You normally see it when they're finished.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure
if
that could have gone out. So then he was standing there looking at a blue screen for a minute as well while he waited.
That's probably what he was. That's probably what he was referring to then.
But
I think it was. It posed the question to me when I saw the lines going up. Was that a bit of an afterthought, the offside thing? Because that's a non-factual review or whatever, or that's a factual review.
Yeah.
That, you know, if he's offside, you don't have to come across and have a look at it. So obviously they were looking at the handball.
Yeah, they were.
And then they thought,
gone, shit, is
everyone offside there?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe that was
that'll dig us out of this hole. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go through the game. Go through the game.
Well, let's be honest. The first 10 minutes, you thought, for Perth again. Here we go. They looked like they were going to get absolutely torn apart. But in all credit to them, they actually were much better in defence. They rode their luck a couple of times, but they I think it was 26 shots for Adelaide or something, and they only had 4 on target. So that really speaks to the improved organisation or determination or whatever it was to not allow the shots to be on target, to get them blocked or force them away from target. Still, the goals they did concede, little errors that shouldn't have happened. You know, a corner, a needless corner given away from Kanga with some misunderstandings, and the ball comes in. Vreens with his header. He's pretty much unmarked, you know, like little things like that are still in there. But it was
he jumps and then he has to stoop almost
to get there
because he's completely uncontested and the ball's so low. It should never have got that far either.
Yeah, so they've still got, obviously it's not going to be fixed overnight, but they've got these little errors that are still costing them. But it was a much improved performance, and to get a point away from home at Adelaide on a Friday night is not an easy task. And they frustrated Adelaide to a large degree.
Yeah.
And Adam Taggart does what Adam Taggart does. I said in commentary, normally he gets a couple of half chances, that's all he needs. Well, the first full chance that fell to him, it was in the back of the net. And his header, I'm sorry, but that's a half chance.
That's not even a half chance. It's hardly a fucking half chance.
That's fucking quality header. To get 2 defenders there, to get across in front and use the neck muscles to get the power in it, to get it in that space. Okay, you could maybe say goalkeeper didn't do a good job, but that's a great header, and that's a mark of a really good striker there. And I think his celebrations were not more out of I do this all the time, but out of come on, fuck, we need to get a win here. Sort of just let's get the job done.
Do we one last talking point? Talk to me about what's going on in the brain of Christian Caicedo.
Well,
brought on
a free hour
and then brought off.
I'm going to be
and
honest.
everyone thinking, well, that's just tactical. It's tactical. It's for the good of the team. Afterwards, in the post-match press conference, Driller said, well, fuck, we didn't want to concede another goal, and he wasn't defending well enough down the right-hand side. So he's taken him off because he wasn't doing
his job,
what the coach wanted.
Yeah.
So the coach has to make that call. And yes, the player is going to be pissed off.
Yep.
But I think the first reaction was, why is Driller doing that? Can't you take somebody else off? Like, if it's purely just for shape or throw an extra defender on, take someone else off. But you're not just going to you're going to take off your worst player.
Yep.
Or the player that's not giving you what you want in that situation.
Yeah.
Whether there are going to be ramifications for that, whether Driller could have taken that into account.
Or if you do that, do you as a coach, that decision's made, but then in the press you might say, oh, no, it was tactical just to, because I'll be honest, you could lose that player for the year now. That player could just go, fuck you. You're going to talk to me like that. You put me on and then you'd say I'm shit and then you take me off. Fuck you. I'm done. That's enough for some players to just go, I'm not going to play for you. Hopefully it's not, I don't know the guy, from a bar of soap. He might just be angry on the day and then on Monday turn up and go, I get it. I understand it when he sits down with the coaches.
Yeah.
And, they might sort that out. But yeah, that was a bit of a strange one. But you're right. If they're thinking he's the weak link that might cost them a point away from home, especially in the situation they're in, then he has to do what he's got to do. And he's showed there that he's not afraid to make that decision,
Exactly. All right. So Adelaide missed out on the chance to really keep pace at the very top. They're still undefeated, though. There are only two teams undefeated. They are one of them, and it was a second point of the season for Perth. Next up, from one end to the other, Auckland, 2-0 winners over Newcastle. Macca, this one as well. I was watching this one at home and then on the train heading out to Campbelltown for the evening game, and then watching out there at Campbelltown Stadium. So, you know how it is when you're preparing a game and you're in transport. You've got one eye on it and one off. Obviously, we've spoken about the great goal celebrations. The big thing about this one, and you can give me a bit more insight perhaps. Newcastle have received a lot of shit so far this season. Auckland have received a lot of plaudits. Yeah. 82nd minute, this was still 0-0. Newcastle went there. They won at Wellington last year, the only team to win there. So they've got a little bit of form on the road. But this had all the hallmarks of a pretty vastly improved performance for Newcastle. And in the end, they got nothing to show for it, I guess. Yeah,
look, it was... I go to the third minute and Ben Gibson's put through.
Fucking hell.
And he scores that. All of a sudden, maybe it's a different game altogether. Auckland haven't conceded a goal before. They concede early in that game when they're going for a record. I'm not saying that they would have fallen apart by any stretch of the imagination. I think their squad and their team's way too good for that. But, it just changes the dynamic a little bit. And that brings me to Alex Paulson. He is fucking unreal again, isn't he? I was going through his stats over the weekend and he's got more saves inside the box than any other keeper. He's got 5 sweeper keeper movements, which is only the second behind Andrew Redmayne. They haven't conceded a goal, even though their XG is 4.4 or something like that, so they should have. But he's pulled out some really remarkable saves at important times too in games when it's 0-0, 1-1, all these kind of scores, important game-changing moments. And I'm not talking, 3-0 up, all this kind of – I'm talking moments that shifts the whole course of a game. And he stepped up. He did it against MacArthur last week. He's done it against Newcastle in the opening. His first time he's been called into action. And he is a fantastic goalkeeper. And I'm really looking forward to watching his career because I think it's going to be a long one with a lot of success and I think at a very decent level as well. Now, in saying that, he's got a good team in front of him as well, hasn't he? Right across the board, they're good. Probably the one thing, they've scored in every game, but I don't see an out-and-out super striker for them, that's going to score nearly 20 goals. That might be their Achilles heel when it comes to the crunch end of the season, but gee, they're strong at the back and in midfield, and even in the wide areas. I think they're very, very solid. Bimby doesn't shut up the whole game. He's driving them. He's pressing him. You can hear him on the sideline going, press, press, press. What are you waiting? I heard a couple of times, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Brilliant.
Go! And then when they've got the ball, there's the rounds going around about Ange Postecoglou lately where he's on the sideline going forward, not backwards. And you can hear Bimby saying the same, pass it forward, fucking forward. So he is really on top of him. And I think he knows, he's had a year out of the game to sit back and reflect and go, I really want to fucking make this something that goes down in the history books because they are doing really well. And for Newcastle, after all, as you said, all the shit they've copped, they have a young squad. They don't have the resources that, Auckland have got. We all know that they've got a billionaire owner and got everything behind and he said he wanted us to win it. The first straight away he said, when I start teams, they win. I want to win from the start, and they're doing that. But Newcastle has a very different philosophy to that they're in a building process that they want to build the academy and bring players through, and been told they're not going to spend a fortune on the first team. So Rob Stanton's got a hard job. It is a hard job when you've got a squad like that, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the squad, but it's young, inexperienced. There's not many experienced leaders in that squad either. But they did a pretty good job. They were under the pump a bit. Yeah, they rode their luck with a couple of last-ditch saves.
That's what they have to do,
Correct.
Isn't it?
100%.
I mean, that's when you have to just batten down the hatches. This is going to be a season like this. And there are going to be some moments where someone gets in a bit of form and Gibson scores that early goal. Your boy from Victory that scored the double, Eli Adams.
Yep.
He'll get another couple of goals. There will be moments where things look a bit brighter. There are also going to be moments where, it's going to be tough. But what you have to maintain the whole time is that you're starting every game behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
You're starting every game where you need to be at fucking 200% just to stay in the contest.
Yeah.
It's not like Victory or Sydney who can have an off day and win. That's not the season for Newcastle.
No, not at all. And they'll get Lockie Wales back soon. Not Lockie Wales. I keep saying Lockie Wales. Is it Lockie Wales?
Yeah.
No, it's Lockie
Rose.
I keep getting those two mixed up.
Yeah.
Lockie Rose. Lockie Rose. Yeah.
Almost
Rose.
back.
Yeah, it is Lockie Rose.
LA Rose. You can just call him LA Rose.
Hell, I'm losing my mind here. He'll be back soon, which will give him a little bit more. And it's something they've lacked, I think, a little bit is that.
There was talk of Lockie Wales coming back into the league as well, wasn't there?
Was there?
From Korea. Well, their season's done.
Well, he won't be able to come till January.
I think. Yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
But I think JA had maybe it was just agent talk or rumour. Anyway, yep.
He will
be
getting
back.
back to Lockie Rose. I think it's Lockie Rose.
LA Rose.
He'll give him that little bit of punch going in behind, which I think they've lacked. We've seen plenty of, when we're down sideline, we can hear Rob Stanton almost exasperated saying, fuck, runs in behind. And when they do make runs in behind, they do cause a couple of problems. They've got players like Lockie Bayliss who can get in a pocket and thread a really good ball in behind as well. If they make those runs and create that space in midfield, they will create opportunities. It's just a case of whether they're going to take them in those crucial moments. But Auckland, we've got to mention their record, all-time record, no goals from the start of inception of a club and start of a season. Now I think they get something like 60 minutes or 57.
That's exactly. So they've actually gone for NSL and everything now.
Yeah.
That no team in the history of Australian and New Zealand First Division football in the Professional National League has gone this far in their without conceding a goal from their first ever performance. So you got it. Hats off. Yeah. And Bimby has said that from the start as well. Defense.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships. Yeah. The first thing they wanted to do was set up the defense from that foundation. Then you can move forward. Pretty
good foundation at the moment. I think they're only 57 minutes away or something from the all-time A-League record. Not from the start of the season, but during a season as well. The Mariners, I think, went something like 5 games and 57 minutes. So they're not far away from that as well, from what I gather this week.
I have.
You've got it?
I see you are trying to shit out that stat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm constipated.
But it's not coming out properly. You need to eat maybe some dried apricots. I'm going to give you this one.
All right, shit it out.
Here it comes. So, brought to you by Andy Howe, as featured on the call of Auckland v Newcastle from our friend Jacob Spoonley, who gave Stato a very well-deserved shout-out. So, Stato gave us all those stats last week about the history of the very first season of the NSL in 1977. Now he's back again. Auckland FC now aiming for the longest start without conceding for any team ever. The longest start to a season. Auckland has become only the third side in Australian men's league history to start a season with 5 clean sheets, following Preston Macedonia in 1986 and the Central Coast Mariners in 2007-2008. Preston's start without conceding extended to the 24th minute of their 6th game in 1986 and a 3-4 loss to South Melbourne at Middle Park. Now, according to Stato, that remains the longest start to a season without conceding a goal in Australian men's league history. Now, you are contesting this, Daniel McBreen.
No,
with your Central Coast Mariners.
I'm regurgitating shit that I've heard.
You didn't go back and check?
Without any verification or fucking research, I just started. I thought this one was not from the start of the season, but any time during a season. So that's where
Okay. Backpedaling. I like it. Hang on. Let me check. I'm doing the deep dive live on A-League off air. So, start of the season, 2007-8. Shout out to ultimatealeague.com, who I'm using for this one. There are a couple of great websites committed to A-League statistics and just keeping a record of the league that you can access. Now, there is Andy Howe, of course, who is the god, but ultimatealeague.com and also aleaguestats.com are the two websites where you can find out all this information very quickly. So, Macca, 2007-2008. Mariners 1-0 over Sydney, 3-0 over Wellington, 1-0 over Queensland Roar, 0-0 Melbourne Victory, 1-0 Perth Glory, 5 games without conceding. We're going to have to dive into game number 6, a 2-1 loss to Adelaide. And it's Brucey. Our mate Brucey, after 19 minutes, ended the invincibility.
Yeah, but you're going from the start of the season, aren't you?
That's from the start of the season. So you reckon there's another run?
All I'm saying is maybe we'll have to get it clarified on Twitter, but I heard that there was a longer run.
Oh, Twitter's the place to verify it. Yeah, fucking spot on.
Yeah, that's where all the shit goes down. Literally, shit.
Yeah, shit going down. Well, that's what these stats are all about. So I'm sticking with Stato.
I'm going to stick with Andy as well. If
Auckland FC can go without conceding until the 25th minute in the derby against Wellington, they will set the all-time record for starting a season, any season, first season or otherwise, without conceding a goal. Wellington Phoenix, if this is your mission, should you accept? Don't let them do this. Fuck.
Oh no, what a game.
They can't just walk in.
Yeah. Well, see, now you got me thinking about stats, Robbie, because you love them. I want to know what's the shortest run of a clean sheet for a new team ever.
We'd probably stay in New Zealand.
The Kings, when did they get their first goal scored against them? There's got to be someone who holds that record, doesn't there?
I'm not going to spend the whole time. There does have to be. By the way, I think it was Justin from Ultimate A-League who got involved in the conversation on Twitter a couple of weeks ago about the longest hat trick.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And there were a couple that were like goal in the 4th minute, third goal in the 87th,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So it's out there.
Yeah.
That information does exist. That stat has been shat. Congratulations, Auckland. You're leading the way. Yada, yada, yada. Next up, Melbourne City at home to Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, there were some quality Melbourne City players sitting up in the stands watching this one, and you got to wonder
asleep as well.
what they were thinking. The shot I saw of them, they weren't asleep, but it was early on. Yeah, look, this is two sides low on confidence, two sides, lacking a bit of consistency. Western Sydney Wanderers coming off the hammering. Hammering.
City, I wouldn't say
they were second best in the derby.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, well, City have actually been doing okay, but there's
they had
just
3 weeks off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That was why.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And Aurelio Vidmar said in the first question, and it might have been pointed in that direction, but he did say it's tough to have 3 weeks off. You can't replicate. And in my head, I just went, bing, they're going to be flat today. And fuck me. The first 3 minutes, there was a goal-mouth scramble and shots everywhere, and you were like, oof, this is going to be an exciting game.
But that they almost scored.
Yeah.
That was the save by Lawrence Thomas lying on the ground.
I don't even know. I think he knew what he was doing. It just hit him as he was laying there, and he went, oh, fuck, yep. But then it turned into a real slugfest of a midfield, moving it back across
the war of attrition.
And it just felt like it needed someone to go, actually, I'm going to fucking do something here. It would move forward and to the side and then go back to centre-backs and then move it back and forth between the centre-backs a bit. And then we bounce into midfield and then bounce it back to the centre-backs and pass it back and forth. It was a real game of patience and taking your time to wait for the opportunities. Milanovic.
That's the nice way of
fucking boring
calling it
to watch. Look, let's be honest, and that's football. It doesn't matter where you go around the world. That's football. Some games, not every game.
And you have those games.
Yep, I've watched 3-0 games before where they're fucking boring as batshit. But it took someone to step up, and Milanovic decided, fuck it, I'm going to go and run at some people.
Well, Milanovic is that you said we needed the player to step up, the player to do it. Now, you had those 3 players, Lecky, Tilio, Naboot. And Naboot, you could see that he just had the surgery on the knee. So let's hope he comes back. He's clearly going to come back even stronger because that's what he does. But they're 3 of those players that can do that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
There are 3 of those players that can do that. And Nick Milanovic, to be fair, is going to be one of those players and is one of those players as well. And he managed it.
He is rapidly becoming one of those players in the A-League. And we've pumped him up a few times now. And look, again, you can't deny his numbers. He's 5 goals now in the league. He's
top scorer.
Got assists. Yeah, he's got assists. When the game needs someone to step up and do something, he looks the most likely for Western Sydney at the moment, and he did. Sucked in the challenge and forced a penalty, took it himself and got them on their way.
Now, Callum Talbot did get a fair chunk of the foot on the ball there.
Yeah, I know. This was the
Did you see it? Have you had a look at it back?
I've looked at it back only when I was commentating.
I mean, it's behind him, and Milanovic probably would have run onto it.
Yeah.
From the touch and the...
Yeah, if he didn't do such a big step out to the right to get that, because that's where it was. Yes, he may have got...
But that's how he's got to get his foot on the ball.
I know, but he's blocked the... Milanovic was going to get there, wasn't he, if he didn't crash into him.
Probably,
you could have I guess there's probably some City people out there and probably others who would say that Milanovic just ran into him, crashed into him.
Yeah, but he wasn't following the run of the ball, Milanovic, when he ran into Talbot as well.
I don't think there's any question of the penalty. I think
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
That's fair enough as well. But look, for me it was a penalty, well taken. Nathaniel Atkinson had probably City's best chance, along with Mehmeti with the Atkinson with the shot that went over the bar.
With that fucking amazing header.
Mehmeti, I don't know what. I just think he thought someone
crazy.
in front was going to get a touch and he wasn't ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And as
he's just going through the motions or something, and then
a good striker has to always anticipate everyone's going to miss it and be ready. And I just don't think he was ready. And at the last second, he was like, "Oh shit!" and it was too late.
Yeah.
So that's a learning moment.
That was a good chance.
Yeah, that was a great chance. Yeah.
And he had and he's got an eye for goal. That kid, they got big raps on him.
Yeah.
And Aurelio's also spoken about him coming through in press conferences as well. They expect him. Yeah. Perhaps it's just that first one.
Well, he's only young, isn't he? He's still 17, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a learning experience to always anticipate that everybody's going to miss it and be ready. And then Antonsen, second goal in 2 games, hadn't scored for almost a year, and then bangs 2 in a row. A bit of a slip from Aziz Beich, off balance, and Gabriel Cleur picked it up. At first, he just kept dribbling, and Antonsen didn't know where to run. Made a run one way, stopped, turned, still. Then he just sort of turned his body and was like, "Are you going to fucking play me or what?"
That's the thing that caught all the defence out.
Well, yeah,
the ball just never fucking came.
No one pressed the Cleur on the ball, but Atkinson was a right back at that stage and was staying wide to block the run. My cat, same time every day. Was blocking the run out wide, but he didn't worry about the run inside. I think he should have narrowed off, as well as whoever was inside him should have stepped across as well. But it was a good finish from Antonsen.
It was a tidy finish.
Yeah, it was a tidy goal.
Tidy finish. I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, keeper couldn't have done much, but there was a lot of space inside that left post. But, you can pull apart every single goal. 3rd assist for Gabriel Cleur this season as well.
Yeah, all right.
Which is pretty amazing, considering he was very much second choice last year. Ended up coming in and playing in midfield a little bit. He's back at right back and doing the job. Shall we move on?
Yep.
Good win, important win for Western Sydney.
Yeah, big win. Yeah, I think they needed to rebound, and
big
they
win
did.
for them.
I think Melbourne City were just flat after 3 weeks off and 4 players in their front third out.
Don't you have another little stat about that as well?
Do I?
The post bye results.
Oh yeah.
So far,
did I send that to you, or did I retweet it, or what? That no one has won after the bye.
No one's won yet.
After the bye.
Coming off,
Auckland are the only exception, but they had the international break after their bye. So they had bye, international break, and then come in. There was a caveat on it. Anyone who's come directly off the bye hasn't won.
Okay.
So there's 3 teams that won't win this week.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So look out, Sydney FC, Central Coast Mariners, and Wellington Phoenix in the derby. It's okay if you don't win, just score the fucking goal.
You got a real thing against Auckland, haven't you, hey?
No, I picked Auckland to win the league. For what it's worth.
And Nick's to come last.
Yeah. So.
For what it's worth.
There you go. Drama. That's all I'm interested in, the drama. The storylines, the narrative. Okay, next. What, you have something else?
Who the fuck am I? Or?
Oh, yeah, okay. Who the fuck am I? Sure. So, who the fuck am I? A few people got it. It was indeed the man that self-dacked himself in reaction to receiving a yellow card. Quite a brilliant reaction, and I did go back and watch it again. It is really hard to work out what the fuck he did that for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you seen, can you picture it?
Long time ago.
He's wrestling, I think it's with Terry Antonis. He goes down, he's wearing the captain's armband for Perth, so he's the leader, he's the responsible one. The referee comes off, gives him the yellow card, and he just pulls his pants down. It's like some weird Belgian surrealist modern art exhibition or something. I mean, what the fuck was he doing?
I have no
idea. And then he pulls his pants up. Brilliant. Go and check it out. What year was that? No, it's about 10 years ago, I guess.
It would have to be.
Be something like 2014, 2015.
Something, yeah, it'd have to be around then, yeah.
Anyway, Michael Thwaite, we salute you for the self-dacking. Good on you.
Didn't he also do the Harlem Shuffle dance in the corner when he scored once? That was that rage all at the time.
Yeah,
lady as well. It was. Yeah.
I was gone by then. I was already eyes off the league, unfortunately, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm
I'm surprised you didn't get a little Harlem Shuffle going. Did you do that on your travels?
It's too good for that.
Did you have an organised one? Because that was teams doing it, wasn't it? In general, the teams were like, you'd have the security camera set up in the corner to look like a security camera in the corner of the weights room or whatever.
Yeah.
And people doing weights and then cut to everyone doing the Harlem Shuffle.
Yeah. Good times, eh?
How the fuck? Internet, they should be, questions should be asked. What the fuck? Anyway, who the fuck am I? Your chance to be this week's star on Twitter and Instagram and wherever else, on YouTube in the comments. There you go. That's what you can do on YouTube as well.
There you go.
Who the fuck am I? Born overseas, I arrived in Australia when I was 9 years old. 8 years later, while playing for a former NSL champion, I signed for the first of 4 A-League clubs in my career. In my first year, I won the National Youth League. I went on to play in Europe. I guess I can give the country. I played in the Czech Republic and Hungary. Returned to the A-League with my 4th club. Had one more spell overseas in Asia. And despite my name, I only scored 4 goals in 73 A-League appearances.
You've just killed it. I think even I can get this one now.
Okay,
and I never get any of
good
them.
For you. I got to make them easy. The producer AJ, our long-suffering producer, said we have. The idea is that the questions are easy to generate. Interest and discussion.
Is that the idea? Is it, or is it supposed to make it so it's hard and people have to think?
Yeah. Well, okay. Shall?
That's good.
If we're like in a court of law, strike that comment from the.
Yeah.
Don't take that clue into consideration.
Are we going to drop
Pretend
the last one?
you didn't hear it.
The last one?
Yeah, just drop the last one.
All right. So no
and
goals.
So I can also say, yes, forget that. Forget the comment about the goals when thinking about who this could be, and add, I even won a continental trophy. Sort of.
Sort of.
So there you go. That's why that one was originally left out.
Sort of.
Okay, next. And I have another mini stat to chat about this one as well. MacArthur 4, Brisbane 4. Very entertaining game, particularly in the second half, I think, when it really took off. I was calling this one with Harps. Macca, did you watch this one live? Or did you have to play catch-up?
Oh, I had to play catch-up. I was driving in the car
on the Saturday
when this
night.
one was on.
Yeah, that's right. You were on your way back.
I got home and saw the end, and then I watched the rest back, sort of.
Yeah,
quickly.
okay. So Tom Waddingham, I think, confirming that he has a fair bit of talent.
Yep.
Young kid, 2 goals. The first one, I think Harp said it in the commentary, right place, right time.
Poacher.
Second one, great goal.
Yep.
Kerr on his left foot, into the far corner. Keely Adamson pulled one back. I think that was one of the big moments in the game. So that was Brisbane, who came into this without a single fucking point from their 4 previous matches. Bottom of the table. They'd just seen Perth double their points tally for the season. And Brisbane were desperate not to lose, basically. You didn't want to make history for all the wrong reasons. They made a great start. They were 2-0 up. They'd led twice the week before against Adelaide, so we sort of knew they weren't out of the woods. Keely Adamson pulled a goal back that came off Anthony Burke-Gilroy to beat Macklin Freak. And then started the second half. Tommy Uzcock made it 2-2. Dino Aslanagic scored an own goal after a good run from Jack Hingett. And that gave Brisbane the lead back. And by this stage, the game was really starting to get open, go from end to end. You thought anything could happen here. And to be fair, I probably thought the way MacArthur's season has been going, they'd lost 3 of their previous 4, that it might not happen for the Bulls as well, and that Brisbane were going to get the win. It would have seen them climb above Newcastle and Perth. But then Jed Drew came on, and Jed Drew provided 2 assists. Back from injury, Jake Holman had also come on at halftime, and he really brought something to the party as well. Danny De Silva in the 79th minute, and then Valère Germain in the 83rd. It looked as though suddenly, in the space of just 4 minutes, Brisbane were back on track for the 5th consecutive loss for the first time in A-League history, only for Tommy Uzcock to turn the ball into his own net and give us that devastating goal celebration, which is the hands in head in hands, rather. So, yeah, entertaining match of football. Yeah. Great for the fans because it was absolutely pissing it down in the hour before the game. To be fair to MacArthur, they'd run a... Before I let you have your say, Macca, I'll just keep talking. Before MacArthur, in a way, before the rains came, basically, they'd run something on their website and on the council website for inhabitants of Camden could have free tickets if they just showed, that that's where they were living, apply for the ticket, got a free one. They had over 3,500. They were expecting a crowd of over 7,000 to the game, and then for 36 hours in Sydney, it just pissed rain. Yeah. Non-stop, really heavy. The pitch was great in the end because the rain held away. And it finished 4-4. So those that were there were rewarded. MacArthur have already dropped 8 points from winning positions this season as well. So they find themselves outside the 6th. That could all be different, but of course, if.
But I also think they had the chance at 4-3 in about. It was just not long before Brisbane scored the equaliser. They could have gone to goal, and they chose to run out to the flag and waste time. And I remember thinking,
a couple of times they did it.
There was one where if he took his first touch, he's either knocking. I'm trying to remember if he could have either had a shot or squared it to someone in the middle. And I was thinking 5-3 game over. Because it was a really good opportunity. Yep. And even if you blast it out or whatever, it goes out for a goal kick, it wastes a little bit more time. And they went to the corner, and I remember thinking, I just think it's a bit early. When you've got a chance like that, you got to take it and try and kill them off rather than just go, we'll go the pragmatic approach and go to the corner. And they came back to bite them in the arse. And I remember thinking at that point, before what unfolded was, fuck, you got to take that chance there. That's to kill the game.
Yeah.
Like really kill the game. And they didn't. And in my head, I was like, I hope you don't come to rue that. And they did. And Tommy Uscock just takes it out of the keeper's hands just as he's about to scoop it up as well.
Exactly. Curto was there. There was no...
and I thought that was a telling moment there. It just stuck with me. Good from Brisbane. I pointed out last week when I did the tactician stuff that with the ball, Brisbane have the players to create problems against any team.
Absolutely.
What we spoke about Waddingham, the way that he took that ball, it was on his right foot. He saw the defender coming, brought it back to his left, just protected it and tucked it away. You got Berenguer, who was involved in the first goal. Jay O'Shea's good. Jelacic has been great as well, and he's a player that's going to only improve, as he keeps going. So they're on the ball. They've got enough to cause problems to defences. It's at the other end where the problems really lie, isn't it, with Brisbane? Giving away silly goals.
And they brought back,
Yeah.
I mean, Macklin Freak is you don't want to point the finger at goalkeepers, but Scott Neville was playing his first game since January, having come back from a knee recon. Billity was benched. Jack Hingett was back in the side. We had Anthony Burke-Gilroy, who's nominally a right back, was playing on the left because that left back problem, fucking hell, that's been a problem for them. This is going to be 2 seasons now. Yeah. Where I guess Corey Brown is the solution.
He is, But that's their Achilles heel at the moment. Just giving away silly goals at silly moments as well, And to be fair, you got to be fair. I say giving away silly goals. Danny De Silva's goal was a fucking cracker, wasn't it?
That was,
let's
absolutely.
be honest.
What a finish.
Fantastic.
It's so sweetly.
Yeah. But I look at that as well, and I was waiting for the angle behind the goal to show me where the ball went in, and I actually thought, fuck, it's pretty central. Macklin Freak was across from where the ball had been crossed from. I thought he was across his front post a fair bit, didn't get back enough. And
Germain had made that run.
Yeah.
Germain couldn't reach it, was more, but I mean, they're both at the edge of the box.
Yeah. I thought that was, I'm not taking anything away from the cross and the finish, but I just thought, maybe, Macklin Freak could have been a little better positioned there to have stopped that.
Yeah.
And then, Valère-Germain with the header, it was a header, wasn't it? Pretty free header again.
Yeah.
Like we're talking just basic little giving away shitty little goals that's costing them. So if they're a team, Brisbane, for me, and I know last time we were out, I wrote off the bottom 4 or 5 teams. Brisbane are a team, if they can clean up their defensive stuff, I think they can cause enough problems going forward for teams where I could see them starting to pick up a few points here and there.
Or maybe they're going to be the new Perth or Adelaide of recent seasons, because they did get a 4-4 draw. Just very quickly to shit out a new stat. It's the third 4-4 draw in the history of the A-League, after Adelaide got a 4-4 draw with Western Sydney Wanderers, and then with Perth in a matter of a couple of months in 2023. What is the most frequent score in the A-League, Macca? It's happened in the history of the A-League 485 times.
It's going to be 1-0 or something boring, isn't it?
Yep. 1-0 is actually the second.
Is it?
Most frequent result.
2-1.
418 times. So we've got, 70 odd times more. We've had 2-1.
Yeah.
And we've had 3 results only once in the history: 8-0, 7-2, and 6-3.
And I played in one of them.
Oh, did you? Which one? The 6-3?
7-2. Mariners v Sydney.
7-2. Oh, yeah.
And
exactly.
He scored 3 goals. Robbie, fucking hell, come on. It's supposed to be.
Wasn't that one where you almost killed the goalkeeper for the third?
Nah, no.
What's that one?
I don't know. I never attacked goalkeepers. I get along with goalkeepers.
Yeah, there was one. Okay. Anyway, I can find it. So I'm getting messages from Andy Harper. I've got to take him to the airport soon, so we're going to have to keep motoring.
Yep.
Western United, final match of the round against Melbourne Victory. This we've spoken about the celebrations here as well, because Mashash scored a fucking ripper goal. This player, he's a bit of I wouldn't say a phenomenon, but he is capable of absolute brilliance and dominating, and because he's physical, he's technical. I think he should be just about the best player in the league, and he's not there yet. And I think it's because, well, I'm not sure why. I don't know why. I haven't heard anything about. Apparently, he loves life in Melbourne.
Yep.
He loves living there. He loves the club. Sometimes I think watching him that it's a little bit too easy, or that he thinks it's a little bit too easy. When you see him charge out of midfield with ball at feet, when you see him surrounded by 3 players, able to hold onto the ball, when you see him brushing off opponents, there are elements of his game that remind me of like Matt Leckie from 2 years ago when he came back and just bossed the league. There are other elements of the game where he is just a quality technician named Zinedine for a reason, and that comes out, and he's got a good finish on him. But if he just reeled it back a little bit, I think, showed a little bit more discipline and played with others other than just Arzani, who he loves playing with, and that comes across. And that's great to have that understanding and partnership. But he should be the most important player in the league, I reckon. And if he can do that under Kisnorbo, I reckon Victory will be there this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think his goal, I actually, when it went in, I just went, that's just him all over. It started well with...
exactly. It was a classic Mashash goal.
Well, it started with Arzani, who was fantastic again. And he bossed a couple of defenders and kept the ball well, kept moving, and then played it to Mashash, who had players all around him, really. he had them around him, but they weren't around him. He has this ability to sort of find space where there isn't space, but there is space. And then when they start to come and challenge him, his technical ability in tight areas is great, but under pressure as well. And he'll just bounce people off, and he just, good touches, strength, smashes in the top corner. And I just went, that's him. Fucking brilliant, brilliant ball ability, great strength. He's got good pace as well. But he should be and can be, and he is bossing anything that goes around him. This game, for a brief moment, was all Melbourne victory. I couldn't see any other result in this game for probably for a 2-minute period where Botic scored his goal, and he thought, okay, they've got a little bit going here. And then it was just victory again. Daniel Arzani seems to be really enjoying himself again. Looks strong, not only strong, but I think he's also becoming a bit more, I don't want to say direct, but he's having more of an output. He's less, I don't know if he sat down with PK and PK said, look, less of the showboating kind of stuff that doesn't really produce anything. If you're going to do that, fucking make sure there's something at the end of it, because earlier in the season and even last year, there'd be times where he'd be standing there and he'd do a little few step overs near the sideline, and you think, well, the defender's not close enough, so it's not fucking doing it. You're just doing that to go, whatever. But then he'd do something and give the ball away, and you're like, okay. And to be fair to him, he did put in a couple of opportunities. He does create things, and people weren't finishing them, so he doesn't get the credit for assists and stuff like that. He seems to have this bit between his teeth at the moment that he's going, when I get the ball, I'm going to make sure there's an outcome. And it's not about the journey of getting to the outcome. It's what is the outcome. And he's being strong, aggressive. He's taking players on and really using his strength. And he's creating, putting good balls in the box with good tail to the back post. And every time it comes off his foot, you're like, oh, fuck, that's a good ball. Someone get on it.
Yeah.
He's now, I think, more consistently producing that constantly. And it's less about that journey of, oh, look at me doing a trick here and twisting someone. Now it's more about I'm bullying them and I'm getting something, a shot away or a cross in the box. And he was fantastic again. And
on the note of that as well, PK's still got Nish Velupale and Reno Piscopo.
Yeah.
Who's starting on the bench again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, fuck.
Yeah. And obviously we saw Bruno come on as well. Virgos, as we've said early on, that that's just poor goalkeeping.
That should never be a goal. Seriously, it's good or whatever, but and you can score. Probably between the goalkeeper's legs is your best option from that kind of angle, but not hit with the fucking pass with the instep. It's crazy. Yeah. It's great if you fucking leather it. Okay.
I know.
But
I was a bit shocked.
That should never have been a fucking goal. I think he looked embarrassed when he was running off. He was sort of like doing the...
it went in. And I will say too, Vidmar. I thought Vidmar defensively was really good until Bruno Fornaroli's goal, where he just got it all wrong, and that was, that's all Bruno needs. He gets away and he tucks it away, which I felt a bit sorry for Vidmar there.
And it's a good finish as well.
Don't get me wrong.
It's a good finish from Bruno.
But it was like you look and we say there's only one real winner was ever going to be in this game, and then you look at the two goals that Virgos and Bruno Fornaroli scored, and the errors that led to it, and you're like,
yeah, exactly. And this is what's been costly for Western United.
Yeah.
I mean, JA has kids again. He welcomed back Imai this weekend. But, I mean, when they came back, Botic the week before provided those 3 assists. They had a good win against a disappointing. It was Perth, yeah? It was more of that. Was that the 3-1? Yeah. But they've got no consistency at the moment. And this is, the coaches say it. The coaches, when they have these young players, they say, look, I'm not going to ball out the players for this. This is, they make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The thing is, and I know people go and watch other leagues, the top leagues in the world, and it's all about reducing those mistakes. Yes, there are, intensity, fitness, it's played in better, full stadiums, all that sort of thing. But the bottom line is, when you look at the best players in the world, they don't fucking make mistakes. That's why and they will occasionally, but that's why they're the best players in the world, because their decision making, their technique, everything is so good. They don't make these mistakes. Look, that's why we have 4-4s and some great entertainment as well. But this is where we're at. This is our learning curve.
Yeah.
This is the league we are. Embrace it. But it's mistakes that are costly.
Yep, exactly. And it proved. And okay, yes, Victory dominated. They had 9 shots on target, but it was 2 basic errors that ultimately handed them the win in a dominant display. Botic was good touch, turn, finish. You know, we talk about Milanovic being able to, do moments, and Waddingham being a goal scorer. Well, Botic is similar there as well. Good turn and finish. Again, look, if you want to look at everything from different perspectives, you could turn and say, well, how can he turn and get a shot away in that space there? The defender should be better. But, credit to the young man. But it was only going to go one way, this game, as you watched it.
Let's have a quick look at the league ladder. Auckland, 5 wins from 5, yet to concede a goal. They've only scored 8, mind you. In fact, if I go in and have a look, where are they on the scoring charts for goals scored? Auckland are sitting outside the finals on... Oh, no, it's the other way around. Boop, 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 boop. They are just in 6th place.
And the goals
level with 8 goals scored with Melbourne City and Brisbane Roar. So look, lift your game, Auckland. No, just kidding. Auckland, obviously, leading the way with 5 wins from 5. Melbourne Victory are second, 1 defeat, 13 points. Adelaide, undefeated, 11 points. Wellington, who have the derby next week, on 10 points. Then Sydney FC and Melbourne City, both on 9. Macarthur with the point are level with Western Sydney, who got the win, on 7 points. They are sitting in 7th and 8th, just outside the 6. And then Mariners, 6 points. They had the bye this week. Western United, 5. Newcastle, 3. Perth, 2. And Brisbane Roar, 1 point. There we have it. Top scorer, Nick Milanovic. Marin Jakulic has 4. Who else has 4? Macca, any idea?
No. Hang on. No, because, here we go. Zach Clough has 3. Valet Germain, 3.
Yep.
Kamala and Waddingham and Barbarousis and Ibasuki all have 3.
Okay, good. So there's a good little... And they're good players as well. I didn't want to be down on the league for the number of mistakes.
No.
It'll be a good... there's some quality players, and there'll be a good race for the Golden Boot. All right, that'll do. Fuck off. Have a great week, everyone.
Yep.
Do we have Asian Champions League this week? The Matildas, don't forget the Tillies, looking to bounce back. They should bounce back against Chinese Taipei. I enjoyed calling their 2 games against Brazil.
Yep. They're on...
Brazil fucking good.
Mariners have got... Yokohama F. Marinos with
They've got
John
another
Hudson's,
Japanese team. They're at home, aren't they?
On Tuesday night.
Hutch back.
Hutch
back on the coast.
Yeah, I'll be catching up with Hutch tomorrow morning for a coffee to tell him how he needs to play his team.
It's going to be massive. So, I'll be picking up a consultancy fee for that.
Yeah, lots of yen.
Japanese clubs are loaded, Macca.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Can they sponsor the pod?
That's why I'm trying to get in there.
We can be A-League off F-Air.
F off
whatever.
Marinos. Yokohama F off Marinos. Right, fucking get on your plane and get home, mate.
All right, that's enough.
Don't
forget to like, subscribe, review,
YouTube,
whatever. We're on
Twitter,
YouTube. Check it out.
yeah,
fucking.
Insta.
All right, we'll see you all
See yous.
next week. Go, 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 go,
See
go.
ya.